Hello everyone, my name is Alicia. I have been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and sometimes I get depressed. Actually, I get depressed a lot. At my lowest points, I find it really hard to do anything. It's like you're walking knee-deep in water all the time. In those times, I don't clean, I don't make food for myself. The best I can do is go to work and perform the most basic of my duties poorly. My flat is a mess, I look like crap, I forget all about my hobbies, I don't even talk much, let alone record videos or something. And I feel so ashamed of what I've become. So after feeling this way for a few days, I start asking myself, why not just give up? But what does giving up mean exactly? Is it ceasing to exist? When I feel so bad, do I want to die? Or is it actually the opposite? Do I want to live, to feel alive? And if that's the case, how do I reconcile that with the way that depression physically feels? I'm usually in denial for quite a while. I just try to keep going and doing all the same things that I did before depression hit. But my energy is quickly drained and nothing feels right. There's no pleasure in anything anymore. So at some point, I have to admit to myself that I just can't keep going as if everything was fine. And I do give up. But I found that what's most important is giving up in the least damaging way possible. Here are some rules that I have made for myself for the worst of times. Number 1, I give myself a limited time for giving up. To do this, I had to track my moods and find out how long the worst of the worst usually lasts. I usually allow myself a few days. Number 2, I don't force myself to do anything. If I want to stay inside, I stay inside. If I want to stay in bed all day, I stay in bed all day. Number 3, if I don't want to talk to anyone, I don't talk to anyone. But I make sure to write short messages to those who might need me. I tell them that I can't be there for them right now, but I will be as soon as I'm able to. It is very important that my relationships don't get damaged by the depression, because that could make it even worse, and it could make it last longer. Number 4, I make sure I eat something and drink plenty of water. If I feel like it, I treat myself to any kind of food I might crave. Healthy or not, it doesn't really matter at this point. Number 5, and this is a tough one, I try to be open and honest about how I'm really feeling. Shame is a big part of depression for me, and I feel that talking about it openly to the people I love takes some of that shame away. Not all of it, but it's important not to emotionally self-isolate completely, even though I need to be alone. Number 6, I do my best to radically accept that this is what the situation is right now, this is how I'm feeling right now, and I cannot change it. I try treating the lowest points of depression as if it was a physical illness. I mean, if I had a cold and I stayed in bed for 3 days because of that, I wouldn't feel ashamed of it. And no one would bat an eyelid, right? So why should this be any different? This is a tough one because of the way depression and mental illness is seen in our society, as if it was something different from physical illness, as if it was something that existed purely in our minds. But our minds are in our brains, and our brains are part of our bodies, and it actually doesn't feel that different from a physical illness. Number 7, when I feel my energy coming back a little, I start doing easy things, even though I don't feel like it yet. I start with the basics that don't require lots of mental or emotional energy. I tidy up a little, I go for a walk, I read a book. Psychologists warn us of getting into this depression routine that perpetuates itself. They recommend movement, sleep, healthy food, and avoiding alcohol, and I do my best to follow those instructions. If I need to do it in baby steps, I do it in baby steps. Especially, I don't push myself to do anything creative until I'm ready. Because that can be very discouraging when, for example, I try to play the piano and I suddenly find the pieces that used to be very easy for me to be impossible. That could push me to, slide right back into depression. So I avoid doing that. I leave creative things for later to avoid disappointment, self-blame, and more shame. Number 8. A big part of depression is distorted thinking. For example, everything is horrible, it always has been horrible, and it always will be horrible. I do my best to remind myself that this is not true, even though I might be thinking it's true because I'm depressed. Remember René Magritte's painting, the one with the pipe that says in French, "This is not a pipe"? It's just an image of a pipe. And psychologists all over the world really love that painting because it serves as a reminder that if you're thinking something, it's not fact. It's your thought about something that could be true, could not be true. But keeping a little distance between, your thoughts and reality can be very helpful. These are the thoughts I'm having right now, but once they change, I might feel better. Or when I feel better, my thoughts might change, even though the situation hasn't changed at all. Number 9, another cognitive distortion is looking for reasons to be depressed when there are none. It's a tricky one. On one hand, if there is something in my life that is damaging to my mental health and is ongoing, it is a good idea to change that. On the other hand, my brain might be looking for outside reasons to be upset when the actual reason is just a chemical imbalance in the brain. This is why I find impulse control especially important during depression. If there is a necessity for life changes, in most cases these changes, they can wait a few days. So I've made it a rule for myself to avoid rash action, conflicts, and alterations to my life at the lowest points of depression. I wait for when I feel better, when I have some energy again, and I think things over again, and if I do find that changes are necessary, then I make them. What about you? Do you ever get depressed? What does it feel like for you? What is it you find helpful in these times? I'd love to hear about that in the comments. This is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you, or rather at you, again soon. Bye!